Hey folks, this is a weird one, isn't it? Actually talking to the camera. I hate the idea of doing this, so decided to do a fascia fear thing and just jump into it. So I've probably called this video something like this was never a drone channel, or this was never about drones, something like that. And for me, it wasn't. And oh yeah, in case you haven't guessed, I'm kind of wrapping the channel up now. So it's not going away, but I'm not going to be doing regular videos anymore. So this channel was always about kind of a disability rights issue that I thought needed a bit of attention. So I'll explain why. About 34 years ago, I injured my back. I used to work at a building supplies company, and even with all the signs everywhere saying lift with your knees, I always lifted with my back because I was young and fit and strong and stupid, and I didn't need to listen to advice. And it turns out I did need to listen to advice, because handballing bags of sand and cement every day was not good for my back. And I've kind of been stuck with this little back problem for life. And by the way, we're at a place called Claver Cairns today. Absolutely fantastic place to visit this is. If you're ever in the north of Scotland, come and visit this place. It's near Clawdon Battlefield, so you can visit both within a couple of hours. It's an historic environment Scotland place though, so no drones allowed, of course. But why don't you just go ahead and fly your drone, eh? So as I was saying, in the same year that I hurt my back, I also managed to hurt my neck as well, for good measure. I used to be in the territorial army, like the army reserves. We had this game that we'd play in the bar at night, like a strength test game, where you'd lie across 3 chairs and someone would take the middle chair away, so you had to support your weight on just the back of your head and your heels, and then someone would put a beer crate on your stomach and you had to pass it around underneath you and back up the other side onto your stomach and just pass it around yourself as much as you could. And I was the new lad. I wanted to prove myself, so I was determined to beat the record, and did beat the record. So still a little bit proud of that, to be honest, even though it was stupid. Anyway, just wrecked my neck for life. I didn't really sort of let it affect me. I changed career, got into journalism, worked as a reporter for about 10 years, which didn't actually do me any good because you're sitting still quite a lot. But then I got into photography, and then I was out and about every day. And that did wonders for my back. It didn't help my neck much, but it really helped my back. But then the pandemic came along, and with the lockdown, I was pretty much doing nothing for a year. I was just sitting at home. I'm a single parent, so I was sitting at home with my daughter all the time. We got out for our little bit of exercise each day, but that was it. All my physio had stopped, and just my back and my neck got really bad. So I decided to change career, started doing a degree course. But I wasn't done with journalism, that's it's my energy source. It's what it really makes me tick. So I decided to start trying to continue as a news photographer, but using a drone, because I couldn't carry all my heavy camera gear around anymore. And by that time I'd already kind of downsized a lot of my camera gear, and I couldn't afford to downsize it again, because when you need to go to lighter equipment but keep the kind of quality you need for work, you're very expensive. So I just couldn't afford to do that. So I decided to start using a drone. I'd used the big drones for work for years, but I got one of the mini drones so that I could fly it wherever I wanted. Except you can't fly it wherever you want, because everywhere you go, there's someone standing there calling you a terrorist, or saying that what you're doing is illegal, or they'll threaten to phone the police, or they'll actually phone the police. And you know, before you know it, you might have 20 jobs in a week. You get to the end of the week, you've got 2 of them done. It's just not sustainable. So I thought I'll start this YouTube channel about it. You know, obviously the issue's already well known, but I wanted to highlight it in a kind of real world way, that, you know, I'm not someone that's going around using a drone to start trouble to get interactions for YouTube. I'm someone who's trying to use a drone for work, and these hassles are just presenting themselves to me. I'm going to swap hands because that arm's getting a bit sore. Yeah, so I thought I could do a channel, actually show, you know, real world example of how this ignorance, prejudice, whatever, that people have about drones was a real world problem for me. And I think the channel's done that. It's kind of served its purpose, it's run its course. You know, I've got interested over the last couple of months in this whole land access thing, and then doing these sort of site security audits. And that's probably where the focus was going to be going forward. I also wanted to start doing these videos where it's like confronting people who park in disabled bays when they're not meant to. But I'm just not going to do it. I'm not a YouTuber, you know. I'm a print journalist. Whether I'm a reporter or a photographer or whatever I'm doing, I think like most journalists, I like to work behind the scenes, keep my head down. And when you put yourself out there doing YouTube videos, you kind of unavoidably become part of the story, and that just doesn't sit right with me. You know, I'm not part of the story, even though I'm focusing on something that has, you know, great importance to me personally and affects me personally. You shouldn't ever be part of the story. You know, it's like when you see these people, you know, it's like when you see a reporter's picture at the top of a story. You think, why is that there? You know, your job is just to report the facts. All right, put your name on it so you're accountable. But when reporters have their portrait picture at the top of a story, oh man, that gives me the creeps. I don't like that at all. Anyway, so yeah, long story short, as far as journalism goes, I'm out. I'm following a different career now. Nothing to do with journalism, nothing to do with photography, something completely different. Yeah, I've also got a pretty big change that's just recently happened in my personal circumstances that would make the site, the channel, impossible to continue anyway. Or at least not, I couldn't continue it at the intensity that I've been doing for the last couple of months. I've really been surprised by how successful the site was. You know, before I started, people told me it'd take a couple of years to get the site monetized, and then another couple of years to make it successful enough that it would be a full-time income. And this channel got monetized in 3 weeks, and it's probably about a month, maybe 2 months away from becoming a full-time income. I'm really surprised how much money you can make on YouTube. Yeah, if you've got an idea for a channel, go for it. Yeah, I've quite enjoyed doing this. I got over my fear of talking to the camera, and apparently now I've got over my fear of actually being on the camera. So yeah, if any of these things are putting you off, nah, just don't worry about it. Don't matter what other people think, just start your channel, have fun. But anyway, that's it from me. There will be more videos on the channel at some point. I've got one I think I'm doing in April or May. April, I think. That'll be a good one. You'll definitely like that one. That's going to be fun. But apart from that, the only thing left to say is thank you for watching. I'm glad you liked the videos, and I'll catch you on the next one, whenever that might be. Cheerio.